In the heart of Columbia, South Carolina, Shandon United Methodist Church has been on a journey with God since the early 1900s. From the church's beginnings in a two-room schoolhouse on the corner of Lee and Queen Streets to the remarkable sanctuary that we worship in today, Shandon is a church home with rich tradition, and it holds a grand future of making disciples. Come join us as we continue our journey with God, working together to meet the needs of the growing ministry of Shandon United Methodist Church. The real history of Shandon is the story of the men, women, and children who worked together to create a proud legacy of Christian discipleship. Faced with challenges unique to their time, our predecessors built and maintained a church that responded to the needs of its members. In 1928, Shandon merged with the Waverly Church, and in March of 1931, the church acquired the old Heathwood School building. The church thrived at this location and was soon holding 2 Sunday morning worship services to accommodate attendance. And so in 1945, the church bought property at the corner of Adger Road and Divine Street and built the Shandon Church that we know and cherish today. On September 4th, 1949, the Sunday school classes proudly marched from the Heathwood School facility to the new building. We have been benefiting from their vision since the first worship service in the sanctuary on January 15, 1950. Throughout the years, Shandon has accommodated the growth of the congregation by recognizing the need for new facilities, including the Bob DuBose Building and the Leisure Ministries Center. In retrospect, it's easy to see the many ways that each of these past expansion efforts has enhanced the ministries of our church. Now it is our time to continue our journey with God and meet the current needs of our members and community by expanding our facilities. People of every age and stage of life can journey with God through Shandon's many different ministries. Opportunities for spiritual growth begin with worship, with the traditional and lifeline contemporary services, and continue with Sunday school, children's ministries, youth ministries, preschool and kindergarten, older adult ministries, leisure ministries, fellowship ministries, outreach ministries, and the beautiful sounds of the ministry of music. Shandon has an abundance of talent in its ministry of music that reaches the hearts of all who worship with us. Shandon generously welcomes support groups to use its facilities and takes pride in the work of such community organizations. Shandon's ministries are felt as far away as Haiti, as well as locally through organizations such as Habitat for Humanity, Harvest Hope Food Bank, and Cooperative Ministries. Shandon's youth have ministered to the people of Young's Island for over 20 years. Shandon witnesses to many different people with many different needs through its variety of ministries. It is our time to journey with God and continue our support of these ministries by enhancing our facilities. Every time a new member joins our church, it becomes increasingly evident that we are a growing family. Shandon has been blessed with the dilemma of not having enough space to meet the needs of our continuously growing congregation. We received 29 new members in January 2004 alone. We need to ensure that new members and our current members have a church home that both facilitates and encourages participation in Shandon's variety of ministries.
Education is the foundation for which we all grow, for which we all become the persons we are today. At Shandon, we must have the space to be able to grow. Environment is crucial to the education and well-being of our children and our adults. We don't have the current space to be able to grow and to adapt to the ever-changing environment of our church.
Shandon United Methodist Preschool and Kindergarten is a ministry which enables us to help children grow in the knowledge that God loves them. At this time, the limits of our facilities prevent us from accommodating the child care needs of many of our church families with infants and toddlers. Construction of a new building, as planned, will provide 2 additional classrooms while consolidating our program into 2 buildings especially designed for children.
Our kitchen ministries at Shandon have grown dramatically in the last 10 to 15 years, and with the volume of food to be stored, we need larger storage capacity. As a member of the Shandon Chefs, I'll welcome the walk-in freezer included in the building committee's plan and the space in the kitchen that will be freed up where we can do our work. And doubling the size of the player dining room will open up lots of possibilities for use of that expanded space for meals and other functions.
We now have 3 adult choirs and 2 Two of those choirs have 45 to 50 members that attend every week. The choir room was designed for about 20 to 25 people, so you can see how we have outgrown the choir space. As a matter of fact, there are about 250 people who participate in our music programs and ensembles.
Lawrence and I are very much looking forward to the entrance at the children's building. This will help us tremendously with 4 children. We cannot wait to be able to arrive at church and be dropped off. And then Lawrence can park the car and we can all get to church safely, and in bad weather, we'll all be dry.
I am president of a Sunday school class here for older adults. I know some do not come anymore because they cannot walk from the parking lots and they can't find a place nearby. Some come early to wait in the nearby lot for a place to become vacant. If that does not occur, they leave. Some have even given up trying. I am really excited about the planned drop-off at the Betty Bruner building and the shuttle service for areas too far away. This is a great plan for many of our senior members and will be a great help for them, especially in bad weather.
The columbarium will include places for the safekeeping of urns, wall space for the placement of memorial plaques. It will be a peaceful, welcoming, final resting place here on earth. It will be a quiet place for meditation and visitation. This will complete the cycle of life here at our church, from baptism to death for those who choose.
When we were asked to be campaign leaders, it really didn't take us long to accept the challenge. To us, it was a pretty simple calling. We both grew up in this church as teenagers. We started dating through MYF and mutual friends. We were married here, baptized 3 children here, and have used this facility 6 days a week for the last 8 years.
We reflected on how all of this was possible because of someone else. Others before us had a vision and commitment to make Shandon better for the future. Their dreams provided us with various ways to share Christ's love with others. For us, this campaign not only betters our lives, we see it as a chance to leave a legacy for our children and their children, that they may know we were willing to sacrifice in order to expand Christ's kingdom.
To continue our valuable ministries and grow in our discipleship, we must expand and improve our current facilities. We rejoice in the fact that we are prospering and growing as a congregation, and we must act to ensure that our facilities grow with us to meet the dramatic increase of participation by church members. Since we have utilized and exhausted every available resource in our current campus, we plan to respond to the needs of Shandon's ministries by expanding our facilities. Our plan includes removing the Billy Bartlett building and the Two's house, and constructing a new 2-story building with 6 classrooms for children and 4 classrooms for adults. These rooms will greatly improve the meeting area for our Sunday school programs, furthering our educational ministry. Creating a connector between the Leisure Ministries Center and the new facility, and installing a new elevator for greater efficiency. Doubling the size of the player dining room to increase multi-purpose space. Adding a minimum of 2 new classrooms to the upstairs of the Leisure Ministries Center for youth and young adults to further their studies. Enhancing the kitchen by including a new walk-in freezer to further our kitchen ministries. Modernizing the existing children's building by replacing the original heating and air conditioning system, improving storage space, adding an adult restroom, and enclosing the existing outdoor stairwells. Upgrading the Betty Bruner building by reconfiguration of the upstairs to provide the Ministry of Music with more functional space for rehearsal and for storage of instruments, music, and robes, as well as an overall refurbishment of the ground level. Constructing a passenger pickup drop-off area on Adger Road between the Betty Bruner building and the children's building to assist families with small children as well as the elderly. Constructing a covered walkway under the oak tree between the Betty Bruner building and the sanctuary for routine passage in inclement weather and for bridal parties to reach the narthex without encountering the elements. Creating a landscaped columbarium between the covered walkway and the sanctuary, located behind the sanctuary handicapped ramp. Adding a covered walkway to connect the children's building to the Leisure Ministries building. As you can see, we are embarking on a journey with God to improve our facilities and enhance the ministries of Shandon United Methodist Church. Our needs become more and more apparent as we continually welcome new members into our church family, especially families with young children. It is our hope that Shandon's ministry to the congregation and community will grow far beyond the boundaries of our buildings. It is our wish that a 3-year campaign can successfully raise the estimated $6.3 million needed to fund these reconstruction and remodeling needs, and that groundbreaking can be celebrated by 2005. Shandon is fortunate to have Joel Michael of RSI assisting in making this proposed journey with God a reality. They want us to fully understand the principles of Christian stewardship and what Shandon is seeking to accomplish with its upcoming building program. They want us to pray, asking God, what should my financial response be to what God is doing in my church at this time? Through RSI's approach, individuals experience a stronger relationship with God, the joy and blessing of Christian stewardship, and a deeper understanding of their church's vision.
It was so nice to meet Joel Michael of RSI and learn that their methods do not include hard sell tactics, but a journey in spiritual growth instead. Their system supports the whole campaign with the prayers of many people, involves large numbers of members in simple to-do tasks, and allows church members to seek out God's will for themselves regarding what they should do to support His vision for Shandon.
I hope that all of you are becoming excited about the many possibilities for ministry that will be afforded to our church by our new building program. Shandon has had a long and successful life and ministry here in the Shandon community, and the successful completion of our building program will require the sacrifice of each and every member of our church, giving gifts over and beyond what we have committed to our operating budget and for a 3-year period. I think this is one of the defining moments in the life and ministry of our church. Many of you will remember back to the time in 1976 when the Leisure Ministry Center was completed. That was the last building program that Shandon did. Think of what life and ministry at the church would have been like during these past 28 years if our church had not been bold enough to make the decision and make the necessary financial sacrifice in order to complete that program. Think of all the opportunities that our church family would have missed out on. I believe that the new building program proposed for our church, including the new 2-story building behind the Leisure Ministry Center, the new addition to the Leisure Ministry Center itself, the renovation of the DuBose Children's Building, and the renovation of the Betty Bruner Building will have the same positive, long-lasting effects for our congregation. And thus it is important for each of us to make a sacrificial contribution to the church's campaign at this time. I would like to invite each of you to make this a matter of prayer for your life and ask God to guide you as to what your commitment should be. We're not talking about equal gifts. We're talking about equal sacrifice. Some members will be able to give larger gifts, others smaller gifts, but we all want to be called upon to make the same sacrifice. This is a time for our church family to respond with deep and devout prayer, seeking God's guidance and making a sacrificial gift to undergird our church's ministry at this time. This will be a defining moment in the life and ministry of Shandon United Methodist Church.
Where would we be without the visions and accomplishments of our predecessors? What will our future hold if we do not act as they did? Consider what they did for us and what we will be doing for the future of Shandon United Methodist Church. Won't you join us in our journey forward with God?